Well, Erik Ten Hag has gone ahead to address journalists ahead of the game of football that we're playing against Crystal Palace at Old Trafford tomorrow. And obviously, has really gone ahead to say lots of things. And we're here to talk about his reaction to Miss Greenwood, Sabitzer, Rashford, Raphael Varane, Anton Martial, and very many other players that he has talked about into this press conference that was really so much anticipated for. Main reason is, what is he going to say about Greenwood, a player that was really seeing his cases drop yesterday by the court or the CPS of Manchester? Welcome to this channel, United Matters channel. Smash the like button, comment and share. Rokan David is my name. Don't forget to subscribe, guys, because that is what makes us bigger and better. Now, without further ado, allow me to throw us into the first question that was asked about Erik Ten Hag, and it was all about Mason Greenwood. He has broken silence on the return of Mason Greenwood at Manchester United. He said, in this moment, I can't give comment about the process. I can't say anything about it. I refer to the statement of the club. And at this moment, I can't add anything. So, the statement of the club was issued yesterday. It stated that the club is going to carry out investigations onto what really happened in between Greenwood and by then the accuser on what really happened, and then they are going to come out with an ultimatum report, and that will lead them to a decision on whether Greenwood is going to start Manchester United or his contract is going to be terminated by the club of Manchester United. Now, Erik Ten Hag has gone ahead and really referred to that situation, that he's also referring to the statement of the club, and he can't give any comment about the process. Now, Simon Stone came in through and really said the following about this Greenwood situation. He said, Ten Hag further questions on Mason Greenwood, but answers virtually the same. Then asked if it will have any impact on tomorrow's game. He said, we have always to focus on the game, no matter what is our job. So, that is what Ten Hag really said about Mason Greenwood and how it's going to affect the United team tomorrow. He says that we have to focus on the game that is really happening. Let's not go all out and really lose focus on things that do not imply into the performances of Manchester United. Then Simon Stone, there is something he really tweeted. They've not gone ahead to retrieve it. He asked Ten Hag that, have you talked to Mason Greenwood before or after his case is being dropped? Ten Hag said, for that, I'm not going to give you an answer. And him saying that shows me that Ten Hag might have talked to this guy. And the club of Manchester United knows it very well, that they have to do the needful to find themselves in a perfect position that's going to please the fans and the players, the manager, and the brands they work with. So, Manchester United, according to what I know, it's a very big institution. They always have people who poke their nose into things that do concern the club. I know they knew about this, that the cases are going to be dropped, because if Rokan David, who resides in Africa, got to know that this case is going to be dropped, because the person who was accusing Mason Greenwood for domestic violence and raping her pulled out of the case. After pulling out of the case, they got back together with Mason Greenwood. We got to know that in November, meaning that the CPS of Manchester had no witness to take to court. So without no witness to take to court, you know what happens? The case is dropped because they lose interest in it. The magistrate will also can say, where is the accuser? Where is the witness? Witness will be nowhere to be seen, and he will come with the boyfriend in court. So that's why they dropped. So United had to know about it. I know they got to know about it early enough, and they've drawn their plan of Mason Greenwood. But I believe Ten Hag is talking to the brother, is talking to the player, I know, and I think they're going to get the best solution for the player known as Greenwood. And I believe right now it's a heated conversation because it is just the hot soup in town. It's the hot tea in town. But I believe a month from now, no one will be talking about Greenwood. That's it. People are really going to calm down, and I think United are buying time. And the beauty of this is that I've seen a story coming from Athletic that Nike, that had really terminated its contract with Greenwood, have really gone ahead to sign that contract, and they've compensated him for the 12 months they spent without paying him. It shows you that those that were afraid of the brands that are really not going to associate with him, Nike is back with Mason Greenwood. So as things stand, then other brands will really look at that, because most of the brands that are really associated with Manchester United are sporting brands, and they're having merchandise they are selling. The same applies to Nike. Nike has merchandise it's really selling. If at all they are really partnering with Greenwood, then that means the majority of the brands that United work with will go ahead and really not put in a blocking factor or a hinge to really stop United to bringing back their academy boy. And I think the people at the helm of the club are really feeling it for the boy, because he's their homegrown, one of the generational talents that we've ever seen at Manchester United, through all the structures of Manchester United to the first team. And I believe it's really going to go, I think it's really hard. It's 50-50, but I believe with time, people will really forget about this. And secondly, they'll come out and obviously do the needful and really forget, and maybe this is going to be taken, because if United is to terminate the contract of Mason Greenwood, they're supposed to give him close to, we don't know the termination clause, because if it's Mason Greenwood who breaches the contract, he's given nothing. Now, if the club breaches the contract and terminates it, I don't think the refund is equivalent to the amount of money that his contract is worth, because he's left with 2 years. United have been paying him very well, £75,000 a week, meaning that if you are to compensate him for the 2 years, that will be close to £10 million. I believe the clause that really calls for a termination of contract, if United is really spearheading it, will call for like £30 million or £40 million, I believe, because it's played into the safety of the player. So, as things stand, I believe United might find it hard to terminate the contract of Greenwood, and we are going to wait and see what the decision is going to be there. So, after Greenwood, he talked Sabitzer, and he was asked about whether he's really ready to start tomorrow as we take on a team known as Crystal Palace. Ten Hag said Sabitzer did only one session, but you can see he's very fit. I think he's ready to play. It could be that he starts. So, as I told you in my match preview that I believe Sabitzer is starting tomorrow. It's a full debut for Sabitzer, because we are really missing that kind of player. That's it. You know, Ten Hag has done it on several occasions. When we needed a left-footed centre-back in the central defence of Manchester United, Lisandro Martinez started the first game against Brighton. Eriksson started the first game for Manchester United. Anthony, when we needed balance off the right attacking side of the midfield, with a person playing with a swift left foot, Anthony had just come in. I think he came in on Monday, Tuesday. On Saturday, he made his debut against Arsenal and he scored. Casemiro, I think it was really hard to integrate in Casemiro immediately, because by then Scott McTominay was playing well with Eriksson, and it was not until Scott McTominay saw himself getting a yellow card, I think it was a yellow card, that really amounted to 5, and then Casemiro started in the game of Everton for Manchester United, a game that he won 2-1. Ever since then, Casemiro has been starting. Weghorst came in through because there was need of a striker and Martial was injured. The manager said Weghorst lead the line. So this time round, Eriksson is injured. No other player in that squad of Manchester United that can offer us what Eriksson offers the club. Then that obviously pictures out, all broadens out that the player is going to make a very huge debut for Manchester United, because he's the only one that does it. And the player who has been playing at Bayern Munich and has played 15 games is really relevantly ready to start a game of football, because the manager is hinting about him having only one training session, but he's very fit. Not even fit, but very fit, meaning that Ten Hag is impressed with the fitness levels of the player known as Sabitzer. And he said, I think he's ready to play. So, and hinted about him starting. I believe he's going to start. Then later, he continued and said that I think Sabitzer is a really smart player, and I think we gave him some guidance, but he knows what to do. He knows the job. Obviously, at the age of 28, playing at Bayern Munich, RB Leipzig, Australian national team, it calls in for that experience to be gained by Sabitzer, and I believe he's really going to come out and really show us what he's meant of. And in that Old Trafford crowd, there is no better way to hand him a debut. That's it. You wouldn't like to see him play away at Leeds or anywhere. You would want him to use these games you're going to play against, the games against Leeds, the doubleheader, and Brent, and I think the game of Brentford has been postponed because we're going to play the finale of Newcastle. Then there is a game of Barcelona. So these 2 games we are going to play, 2-3 games we're going to play before Barcelona, I believe are really so much important for Sabitzer, because we need to see the cohesion. We need to see the understanding between Casemiro and Sabitzer develop in these 2-3 games, such that when you're playing Barcelona and the cup finale of Carabao Cup on the 26th of February against Newcastle, they are really in song into that double midfield pivot, because that's what you need to get all into a team like United to get back to winning level. So he's talking about him being really smart and knowing what to do. He knows what to do on the job. So that is Sabitzer for you. Ten Hag is hinting about this guy coming in and really starting for the club of Manchester United. As I told you in the match preview, go to the homepage of the YouTube, go to where the videos, you're going to see my match. You're going to see my match. It's not a match prediction. It's a match preview where I really predicted my starting 11 of Manchester United against a side called Crystal Palace, and I believe Ten Hag is going to bring in Sabitzer because he has nothing to do. You saw to it that we lacked that killer instinct into the final third every time we played with Fred in the game of Nottingham. And if at all you are told, Nottingham and Crystal Palace, which is a harder team. Obviously, everyone will tell you that the harder team is Crystal Palace. So we need to go full strength to really go ahead and really face Nottingham. Then I had something coming in from the agent of Sabitzer, and this is what he said to show to you that this guy is always ready to play. The agent of Sabitzer, Whitman, told us that Sabitzer is the most unpleasant person to be around when he's not playing. He hates it when he loses. That's the bottom line. Character-wise, the kid is a killer. That's what players who always want to win look like. So he has a winning mentality. And if at all you heard his words when he came in at Manchester United, in the first interview he conducted with the Manchester United TV, he threw it out loud. He portrayed it that he is a player who is ready to fight for the shirt of Manchester United and he wants to win. You get? He talked about him being vocal. He's a naturally born leader and his voice is going to be important into that dressing room of Manchester United, and that is Sabitzer for you. So it shows you that Ten Hag got in a right man for the club of Manchester United. Obviously, we are all highly expective from the player known as Sabitzer. After that, Ten Hag was asked about Raphael Varane, and these were his words. Remember, Raphael Varane retired from international football, and Ten Hag said, for Manchester United, I think it's good news. Rafa, he achieved everything in terms of football, club-wise, but also with his nation. Big respect, and I'm happy he puts all his energy and experience into the team. The biggest beneficiary is Manchester United. You know, when you are a player like Raphael Varane, and you were all out that I've done it all at the national team, you get? What my body needs is to rest because I'm really having very many injuries. You get? What should I do? You know, I'm having a club that has not been winning trophies and had lost its way to winning trophies as it was with Sir Alex Ferguson. Now we are having a manager who is really willing to let us know and take us to the levels, and we are now playing into the cup final of the Carabao Cup after, I think we last played the Carabao Cup final 5 years back in 2017, or 6. You really have to think twice that every time my body is interested enough, the injuries are really going to increase. And I think management needed to be taken, and obviously he made up his mind and said, all right, it's time I retired from international football because there is nothing I'm going to get from international football. That is Raphael Varane for the club of Manchester United. And it works for us like a charm because you'll need Raphael Varane, and I see how good the manager Ten Hag is really managing the player. You've seen him in very many games of Manchester United being benched. You get? He never played in the game of Crystal Palace. He returned in the game of Arsenal. and he never played him in the game of Nottingham. You get? He never played him in the game of Reading. Then he played him on Wednesday as we beat Nottingham to go to the Carabao Cup final at Wembley. So then he's going to play him in the game or start him in the game of Crystal Palace. So it shows you that the manager is managing him very well because he knows their games he's not supposed to play. Reason being, he is having other players that can get the job done depending on the teams they are playing. Something that the manager can't do on Casemiro because Casemiro is the only central defensive midfielder we are really having. Maybe they're coming in on Sabitzer. We'll see the manager sometimes give Casemiro a required rest. But I believe that rest he got when he never played for the game of Arsenal. That means it took almost 7 days without playing a game of football. Really helped him a lot to pump in. Then Ten Hag continued to let us know that Varane gave me the information that he was intending to do this retire. I don't discuss. Rafa is experienced at an age where he makes his own decision about that. I can only express my deep respect for his career until now. But there is a lot to come. So a lot is coming, but we are waiting to see what that match Ten Hag is talking about from Raphael Varane. But I believe he retired because of his injury proneness. He's really an injury prone player that you need to manage him very well. You need to know that he shouldn't play 4 games consecutively. The best he can play 3 consecutive games. So what you do is, every time you're playing the midweek and you're playing a team that is not all that strong, you can bring Lisandro Martinez and either Harry Maguire or Victor Lindelof. All else, you go in for a player, Luke Shaw and Lindelof or any other player in that central defensive position of Manchester United. So that's what Ten Hag is talking about, that he had no input in the retirement of Raphael Varane. But even if he had it in, I think he cannot come here and really say it out loud. Do you know why? Because it will really look bad that a manager really did what Ferguson used to tell the players of Manchester United, that please retire. That's what Paul Scholes did and retired. Now, going straight into the Crystal Palace game, the gaffer had the following to say about the game. That 2 weeks ago, we had a bad performance here against Crystal Palace. I wasn't happy with the performance from us. It was 90% focus and energy, and we dropped 2 points. So, a manager who comes out and really says, I'm not happy, obviously reiterating his words after that 1-1 all draw at Crystal Palace. He said, we had all the time to really score a second goal and we failed. That's what happens to you when you don't score a second goal, because it's very hard that you'll keep a clean sheet in every away game. He said at home at Old Trafford, you can keep a clean sheet because it's easy. You are having close to 80,000 fans cheering along with you. But away from home, the away fans that you're really going with are really little or minimum, because Crystal Palace will be having like 30,000 and having like 5,000. The 5,000 can't really overtake or cover the noise of the others. So it shows you that it's hard to supersede, meaning that the pressure is high, the intensity is high, and the fans that are playing away keep cheering their players going. But we considered that free kick. Luck was not with us, but to really be lucky, you must stand in the way of luck. And on that day, we never stood in the way of luck because we failed to score a second goal. If you had scored a second goal, then the rest would have been history, and we would have gone ahead to be not losing 2 points, because on that day we lost 2 points. So it shows you how fired we really lacked into that game of football. So he's talking about he was not happy at all. We dropped 2 points, and the players even know it, that that's not what we're supposed to be doing. Then he said tomorrow we need a better game compared to the away performance, better focus in the game, better conduct in the way of play, because we have to beat them, because that's quite clear. So he's making it clear that Crystal Palace have to fall on the sword of Manchester United tomorrow at Old Trafford. And I believe we are winning by 3 goals. I believe we are going to score very many goals, because Sabitzer is a different kind of player. You know, those midfield battles that we lost to Dokore because of Eriksson's not being physically strong, and his workaholism is not all that to the level that you deserve to be when you're playing a team like Crystal Palace, because they'll tackle you, they'll do anything. You get? Even when Freddie came in through, he does not give you that fear factor in that midfield that, oh, there is a man standing, because Fred is short and he has a low center of gravity, and his physicality is not all that good, because the main attribute of Freddy's game is his intensity. He's a good passer, but while doing these usual passes, but If you want a pass, if you want a player to give you a pass that can really split through the defensive lines of the opponent or the pockets of space, Eriksen leads. But Sabitzer is another one who does that, and he wins the midfield battle of combating the players' attacks of the opponents. Then he does checkmates also. He's strong. He covers more distance than Eriksen, and he really puts you in a situation that you need to go all out and really be fierce of him. So that's what Ten Hag is talking about, and I believe we are really going to be having a beautiful game at Old Trafford, and let's pray to it that it all goes the way he wants it. Now, you know that Marcus Rashford has been named the Manchester United player for the month of January. Not only that, he has also been named the Premier League player for the month of January, scoring how many goals? I think he scored against Arsenal. He scored against, I think, Bournemouth. He also scored against Man City. January, we've played 3 games in the Premier League. He has scored 3 goals. So that is Marcus Rashford for you, and he deserves to be that. Now, Ten Hag has really gone ahead and reacted onto what Rashford has gone ahead to win in this month. He said, that's always nice to win individual awards, but it's not about that. We have to win as a team. We have to work on that, and when the team is winning, individuals will get their rewards. That is always the football and not the other way around. So Ten Hag is fronting team first, not individuals first. That's the main reason as to why he fell out with Ronaldo, because Ronaldo wants to be in a team when the manager builds that team to make him effective and efficient. That's it. To an extent that his end product of the game benefits him more than the team. But Ten Hag said, no, this is supposed to be a team play. If at all you're not going to go and fit into my patterns and sequences that I'm really preparing through the triangles we do in training, then you aren't going to play my game of football. So that's why they fell out. So however much Rashford has gone ahead to win this, he's talking about a team. A team that will come out and really do the needful for the club of Manchester United and really lead us to the success that we've always yearned for very many years. And he's the right person that is really ready to deliver it to the club of Manchester United. So let me show you Rashford holding these trophies. That of Manchester United was announced yesterday, and that of the Premier League has been announced today. That is Marcus Rashford holding. This is for Manchester United player of the month of January. This is out of the Premier League. It's the second of him this season, and I believe he deserves it, and he's on fire, and so we expect him to really go ahead and really light more fire when we are playing Crystal Palace tomorrow. So your thoughts on Ten Hag's presser, breaking silence on Greenwood's return to Manchester United, then Sabitzer, starting hint. I think I read his mind that is going to start him, and very many more. Raphael Varane's retirement, his approach to Crystal Palace, and lastly, Rashford winning 2 awards in the month of January. So guys, sign out for now. See you later. May the Almighty Lord bless you abundantly. I'm out.